All right, shall we do this?
Let's do it.
How should I start this?
And I think your hair and hat look good. Too dark, way too dark.
All right, what's up? I wanted to talk about all the games that I played in 2022 because it was a sick year for gaming. I feel like I got back into it. I'm just gonna get right into it. So the game that got me back into gaming is actually in 2021, but I have to talk about it as Catherine. This is actually Catherine Full Body. It's the remaster for the PS4, but this game is 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 game for me. Laura and I grabbed this at Second Charles and we just couldn't stop playing it. It's like a puzzle 3D platformer romance simulator. Aliens, demons, Atlas game. Sickest game ever. So that was, I went into 2022 strong. So then we were feeling good. So Mara and I, we started Final Fantasy X. Sick game, love it. We named Titus Jack, all caps. And that's what we call him now. That's what I know Titus as. So Titus versus Titus is Jack. Everybody's wrong. But we didn't beat it for a while, so I'm gonna put that aside. Then Mara cut my hair so badly. Like I tried to have her cut my, what are these called? Dead ends? I tried to have her cut the dead ends off and she pulled my hair back and cut my hair completely up to the scalp. And I tutor for a living, and I asked one of my middle school girl students, I was like, tell me straight, how do I look? And she's like, awful. You look awful. So Mara bought me this because she felt so bad. She bought me Xenogears. And I started this game. Also awesome game. But I wouldn't finish either of these two games. I wouldn't finish. I got like 40 hours into this, and I just didn't finish it. So what was the next game that I actually finished? Oh, yeah. I don't actually have it here. So Cuphead, because I downloaded it. Cuphead is so sick. I became obsessed with it. I bought a controller specifically for it, like a $15 Walmart controller that was mapped like Xbox ergonomically instead of PlayStation. I ended up S-ranking every level you could do, and I got everything you could do in that game. I did everything. I haven't done the DLC yet, but it's just because I haven't fallen back into that hole. And right after that game, Hollow Knight, another game I downloaded. Hollow Knight is one of those games that like normal people suggested to me, which I'm always interested in when like your homie that doesn't game is like, dude, this game. I spent like 80 hours on that game. I didn't do Pantheon 5, but I did everything except for that. Fabulous game, you should play that game. It's like a Metroidvania. You know about it. You guys know what that game is. Or you don't, and you should play it. After Hollow Knight, oh yeah, dude. I went straight to Persona 5, dude. This is actually the OG Persona 5. Mara got this for me just to display because I downloaded Persona 5 Royal. It came with all the DLC and it was like under $20. This game is awesome. If you're a fan of Japanese culture or RPGs and you haven't played this game, like I don't know what's up. I don't know what you're doing. I don't get it because this is a success for gaming. The reason people like get high and mighty is because it's at that level where it's like, oh, screw that game, dude. Like, oh, Atlas doesn't care about SMT anymore. They only care about Persona 5. Yeah, this is like the craziest game that's come out in the last, I don't know, a long time. Play this game. You don't even have to beat it. You don't have to finish it. You don't have to do everything. Just play it for a while. It's great. And then be done with it. I was doing snow removal when this game came into my life, so like, that was just grinding. I spent 175 hours on this game and loved like 150 of it. I didn't like the ending. I didn't like the royal ending, but I like the royal characters, and it was pretty good. Oh, sick. You can't see this. I got two things to show here. Jam Sessions. That's not the game. I don't care. I bought this for $2 for a case because I'm going to print out a fake cover for. And you can't see it. I'll show it later. This is Valkyrie Profile, Covenant of the Plume. This is the third game in the series. It's technically like a spin-off. If you have played Final Fantasy Tactics and you tell people that's the best Final Fantasy, that's my favorite tactics game, and you have never messed with this, why? This is so sick. This is grid-based combat, but that favors positioning, super dark story with 3 different endings. You're like a boy named Will, and you're like, I hate the Valkyries, dude. Like, they took my dad, screw him. And then the Valkyrie comes down, I was like, you want our power? And he's like, yeah, I want your power to screw you guys. And you have to like sacrifice your boys if you want power, and that gives you different endings. And the game is really hard, so you're gonna have to sacrifice your boys the first roundabout. I bought this from eBay, and it was like a dog bit it. So I was like, oh man, I gotta see if this even works. And I put it into my DS, and I think it was like 6 days later I had beaten it already for the first time. So If you like tactics, play this game. Play this game. If you don't like tactics, you probably don't need to play this game. I don't know. It's very specific what it is. And jam sessions. Okay, after Valkyrie Profile, what did we do? Oh, yeah. My buddy Cody and his wife Maggie came into town, and we played Untitled Goose Game. I saw this game at one of the GDQs, and I was just like, yeah, I need this. The first thing in the game, it says, hit square to quack. That's the first button you learn, is how to quack. You're two geese. Oh, play it co-op. Play this game co-op. You're two geese, and you're just messing with town. You're just stealing people's glasses. You're making kids trip and fall over. You're just a goose, dude. I love geese. We ended up taking Maggie and Cody to like a wildlife reserve, and we were looking for buffalo, and Maggie saw like over 500 buffalo and didn't tell us. Like, she didn't point it out because she just thought they were that abundant. So that's my funny story from this. Great game. After that, jumped into my first Fire Emblem game, okay? This is Fire Emblem The Sacred Stone, which I think is the 8th one. It's really confusing. They don't number them, and we didn't get one until like 7. And I'm just making these numbers up, but we didn't get a Fire Emblem for a while. But this is great. This is a little fake Chinese $9 cart. It played perfectly. Great game. I thought it was really fun. It was like a great bedtime game because you play 30-minute missions, and you only have like energy for one, and you finish it, and then you go to bed. And there's permadeath, which a lot of people feel like hotly about. Either way, I like it. I lost like 15 people. I didn't redo missions. If you died, you died. Thanks for your support in our war against, I think it was the Demon King. I think the Demon King is who we slayed. Great game. What do we do next? Oh, and then I finally came back to this. And this is like a game I like. This is kind of one of the main reasons I wanted to make this recap video. Xenogears is an awesome game. Super dark themes. Super thought-provoking. It's like they created this fantastic script and then forced a game into that script. I feel very strongly about this game that it's awesome, but I have to be honest, and I don't think it should be played in the modern age. It is like really hard to get through. It's clunky. And I mean like really clunky. Like, it's so clunky that I had to go find this because this game doesn't work on a PS2. You can't get through it on a PS2. There's a game-breaking glitch where the boss will just soft lock the game. And that wasn't the first soft lock. I was soft locking the game on puzzles. I probably soft locked the game 3 times before I finally was like, oh, I actually have to go find my PS1 console to complete this. And if you've never played this game, you always hear one thing. You hear, oh, the second disc isn't complete. And it's true. They spent all this time working on the first disc that by the time the game was scheduled to be released, they were like, dude, we're not done. And they're like, well, just put out what you have. And the homie was just like, nah, dude, I have a story to tell. So they made the second disc like a visual novel. And what's funny is the second disc is better, in my opinion, because you're not just lost in like teleport dungeons. You're not just lost in like these 90s specific JRPG cases. I actually loved the second disc. Once I made it there, I just flew through because it's just story. And I was just like hungry for the story because the story was so good. The characters were so good. And it made you feel weird because it's sad and it's about existence and life. So love this game. One of my favorite stories in gaming. I just do feel a little torn about playing it in 2022. It's brutal. It's an old school JRPG from the 90s. Very PlayStation 1. But if you want to know how much I loved it, these are the next games I played. And I played them all within 6 weeks. And so yeah, I'm over here talking like, oh, Xenogears is a little tough to play. I love it though. Like, no game inspired me to go on the internet more than Xenogears. I learned and read everything. So let's just get into it. Obviously, I start with the first one. This would be my 3rd time trying to play this game. Okay, my 3rd go. I tried it as a kid with my boy Mike Cotting. A couple cool stories. First cool story about this game. It was coming out on a Friday, so I wanted to be cool guy. I pull up to Walmart on the Tuesday before. And this is before this is an impossible thing. So I pull up on Tuesday and I'm like, hey bro, I think you got this weird game in the back. You mind if I buy it? And he's like, oh, let me look. And he just hands it to me. And I bought it on Tuesday, and I remember sending a picture to my boy being like, yo, check out what I got. And he was like, how? You can't do that anymore. So I get this game. Me and Cotting are playing it to death. And then he comes over And we do what RPG fans do. He shows me his save. Like, look at look at this, dude. Look what I found. And then, without even thinking, dude, he just saves over my save file. And the sickest events in my gaming life occurred next. So he just hits save, and like it's like the bar is going, which is fake. It's already saved over, but the bar is going. He jumps forward, grabs the memory card in the air. He's in the air completely, rips it out, throws it backwards so hard it like hit the wall, made a noise, and then like fell into the gaming console. Sickest thing I've ever seen. It didn't work. The save was lost. But I love that. Love you, Cotting. That's a dope story for me. I don't remember the second time I tried to play it, but again, I just fell short. And the third time, I was just so committed. And it is tough. This game is silent. There's no background music, and that hurts. And it's also a movie. They actually made a copy of this game without the gameplay. It's just the cutscenes. So it's like a joke. There's like hour-long cutscenes in this game sometimes. I love it. Super sci-fi. It's like a soap opera, Star Trek in space. Love it. Okay, maybe I'll say like, I don't like to do numbers, but like 7 out of 10 game. Like, loved it, but has some shortcomings. Then we go straight to the second one. I don't like this game. This is not a good game. I thought for sure that I would like it, because I usually disagree with the internet. The internet hated Final Fantasy IX when it came out. I loved it. The internet hates Mystic Quest, one of my favorite titles in the franchise. So I was so ready to love this game, but it is a bad game. It's not a good game. It's awesome because the story continues. It's awesome because it's XENOSAGA, but you lose the original voice acting, which is huge because Shion is Millie from Trigun, so I like care about that voice. So you lose that. You lose art design. They just changed how everyone looks. They try to make them less anime. I'm not a less anime kind of guy. All that sounds forgivable, but then you get into the meat and grit of the game, and it just is a grind. There's no money in the game. Weird, but maybe I'm not mad about that. But then I have to do side quests for items, and the side quests are, and I mean this, I'm not exaggerating, I just played this. They are walking for 20 minutes. You walk 10 minutes, you take a bunch of transit, you talk to somebody, you walk back, you talk to somebody, you get some items. None of the characters are different in any way. You can go the same stat and skill routes for every single character. Fights load so slow, and when they end, they load back to the game so slow, and normal fights take 10 minutes. If you play this game, use a guide, please. There are dungeons with teleports that you will get lost forever. There's cool stuff too, like it looks better. There's mech fighting that's really crazy that comes in. The story gets expanded. You learn about Junior a little bit, but it's not just me that doesn't like this game. Even Monolith, they remade 1 and 2 for the DS, and they rewrote this story. There's some history about it if you want to go on YouTube about the main guy behind it. He was beating himself up, and he kind of walked away and wanted this to be done without him. He was worried that his input was making all his games delayed and over budget. But he was wrong, because we needed him. And we know that's true because then this game is awesome. If the first was a 7, this is probably a 4. This is a 9. And the only reason it's not a 10 is because there's still like exposition dumps, like very long story segments I loved. But I'm just thinking of the average person playing. Lightning fast combat, lightning fast load times in and out of battles. I took every battle in this game for fun. I wasn't just trying to get through the game. I actually could have finished it a week early, but I did all additional side content. I love this game. This is one of the best JRPGs on the PS2. And the story that finally wraps up is one of the best. One of the best stories in gaming. One of the best sci-fi stories in gaming. There's things that happened at the end that took place before the start of this game. They did it. They did. This was supposed to be 6 games. They kind of screwed the pooch on this one, so they're like, dude, we got to get it done in 3, and they did it. They got a bunch done. They crammed a bunch of story. You got to like read extra stuff to even play this. There's like an in-between 2 and 3, and then there's a now defunct mobile game called Pied Piper that deals with Ziggy's backstory, which is one of my favorite characters. I actually wrote down a Ziggy quote I want to share, because this is the saving grace of XENOSAGA 2, is this quote. Ziggy says, "Death is rest for the soul. If the body did not die, and the fears born in the mind just continued to pile up, the world would be nothing more than an eternal prison." And he is a cyborg that was brought back against his will as a property of government after he killed himself when he watched his wife and child be murdered in front of him. So, I love Ziggy, and I Love that quote. And as a franchise, it's a banger. It's a banger franchise. I can forgive the second game being bad. I wish I could tell you that it's a good game and everyone's wrong, but everyone's right and it's a bad game. But I don't want to focus on that. This, one of the best games on the PS2. Okay, I had a lot to say about those. Also, I beat all these. Yeah, 6 weeks. July 9th is when I beat the first one, and August 12th is when I beat the last one. Okay. Gosh, we love XENOSAGA. What did I play after XENOSAGA? Oh yeah, I had to unwind, dude. With this game, Darksiders 3. I don't actually want to talk that much about this game. There's Zelda games with easier puzzle mechanics, like more visually apparent. If you get something that latches onto walls, it'll glow blue where you can latch it. You're not wondering. You're not walking around the map, hitting every part of the wall, seeing does it stick here. This game in particular, it's pretty good, but I really want to talk about these games, which I didn't beat this year, but I love these games. The first two Darksiders. So if you're going to get in this franchise, which you should play the first one, which is now called Remastered, but with the word war in there somewhere, okay? These are awesome games. You play as one of the four horsemen during like the apocalypse. So the four horsemen are like death, war. War is the first game. Then you play as death. Your wrath in the third one. The fourth dude is in this game, which I haven't played yet. I plan to play this year. This is the fourth in the series. And they actually changed the whole mechanics of the game. It's like isometric top-down instead of third person. But yeah, Darksiders as a series, that's all I really want to say. You should check them out. Easier Zelda games with like a pretty cool story and surrounding. Pretty cool like environment that they put you in. I dig it. So those are my reset games. I always play something resetting after like a heavy RPG boy. But once I was reset, what did I do? Oh, right back to heavy RPG. We love it. Okay, so we're talking about best sci-fi stories. This is up there. This is with Xenogears and XENOSAGA. I mean, I know it's new, so people probably don't want to think that because the other ones are classics, but this story and the way it's told through 13 different characters trying to remember certain things. Oh, man, this is sci-fi. This is sci-fi right here. It's a SRPG, so the battle system, you're like mechs with a bunch of weapons and defenses, and it's real time where every time you put an input, the clock stops for a second until you accept that input. Super cool. Kaiju invasion of robots. You're a bunch of kids in Japan and you're trying to fix it, but it's way more than that. But that's all I want to give you. If you want a story above all else, this game, 13 Sentinels. Awesome. And it's a cheap Atlas title. You don't get to see that every day. Okay, after 13 Sentinels, I went to a casual RPG. It was an RPG year. And we checked out Ys 8. I love it. I love this game. It was just like mindless, but in a really good way. You shipwreck with Adel, who's our boy, our redheaded guy. And you're just trying to get off the island, but then, like way more stuff happens. It turns into Jurassic Park, the RPG, which is so sick. And then you meet Donna, and you figure out what's going on with her, and then you solve some ultimate crisis, like all Ys games. They're awesome. The last Ys game I played was Ys 3 with my boy Elstrand, and this game is hated. I thought it was good. It's really painful. It has like strong level caps where before you enter the next dungeon, you have to grind, period, or you won't make it. But I thought it was pretty good. But this game is fun, and you should play it because it's just like, it's like 60 hours, and I beat it in like a week and a half. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm done. It was just nice. Great movement, great platforming for an RPG. Music that could be in Mega Man X. Air dashing that could be in Mega Man X. Mega Man X in an RPG. Come on. This is worth your time. Okay, after that, oh yeah! Look at this. You can't even see it. There's so many stickers on it. So this is the first of 2 Attack on Titan games. So here, I'll just tell you what it is. This is Spider-Man, but you have swords and there's blood everywhere. And you're just slashing Titans. If you know about this series, anime or manga, and you like it, and you also like action games, I would say this is a must play. This comes in English too. The reason this is all Japanese is because Mara and I went to Japan and we went to a book off. This book off had the craziest sales you've ever seen. So we're like, oh, we'll just get a couple things and we'll come back. So we got this game for $4. I didn't know it was released in America. Got it for $4. Didn't even think it would play in my PlayStation. Didn't know it wasn't region locked at the time. Just as a keepsake. We go back a week later. They had shut down. So it was a end of business sale that her and I didn't realize. They had a wall of Super Famicons with 2 controllers each and the power and AV cords for $5. $5 each. Just take that and you could have had it. And I was like, oh man, Japan's crazy. We're going to get so much stuff. But we did get this, and this game is super sick. I ended up doing everything. So I beat like the game, which is just season 1, but then I beat like 60 additional survey missions, and they made crazy missions up. I was like fighting the Colossal Titan while like the Armored Titan was rushing in and the Beast Titan was throwing rocks at me. It was sick. And there's a whole crafting system that I somehow figured out in Japanese in this game. So kudos to me. This game is awesome. If you're a fan of Attack on Titan, check it out. The second game is like a ridiculous amount of money. Don't spend that. Just download it if you got it. The first game's still pretty affordable. The first game you play as characters in the anime. The second game you create your own character. Great game. Loved it. We'll probably play it again at some point. Oh yeah. Okay, so after that, hold on. When did we beat this? At some point, Mara and I actually came back and finished this. I've beaten this game like 6, 7, 8 times in my life, but I finally got to show it to her. We both cried. We love Yuna. Everyone loves Yuna. It's one of the best Final Fantasy characters ever. She's leading you through the story, and you don't even know that. You think you're just leading through Jack, but it's not about Jack. It's about Yuna. Great. My pick for best Final Fantasy. Right here. It's not my favorite one. 9 is my favorite, but I think this is the best that the franchise has to offer. So be mad about that comment. And yeah. Don't know when that was. Don't remember when we beat that, but we beat it somewhere. After Attack on Titan, I was so inspired by games that I started a book club. Well, a video game club. My buddy Cotting was like, have you checked out the Trails series? And I was like, no, dude, I'm scared because it's already 11 games and they're halfway through the arc. So it's like it's going to be like a 25 game series. But I had just played Ys 8, which is also Falcom, same developers. And I was like, dude, I'm down. But I got to con some people into doing this with me. I'm not doing this alone. So I started a whole video game club. I got 2 people to do it, Jacob and Thomas. And it was really fun. I hated this game until I didn't. 30 hours, I hated it. I hate this game so much. And then I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but I loved it. In the last few chapters, I actually read all the text instead of just blasting through it. And by the end of it, I ordered the sequel. So take away what you want from that. How I feel. You're either going to like Trails games or you're not. I'm not going to tell you that you should play this game. You're going to know. You're going to know if you want to play the Trails series or not. There's more text in these games than the Lord of the Rings books. It's just a little fact for you to know before you get into it. But I loved it. I'll be playing the sequel in January. Pretty cool game. Pretty cool to experience a Trails game too. It's like a notch on my belt as a JRPG fan to be like, yeah, I've at least experienced the Trails series. So I'd like to get a little deeper. We'll see how far I go. We're coming to the end of the year here. Mar and I just beat this game yesterday. I did beat a Switch game this year. Awesome. So this game is called Carto. It's a puzzle adventure game. And it's just a little cute game, right? And you play as little Carto who loses her granny, and we're just trying to find Granny, and she has this magic map. So she exists on this world, but she can also blow out of the world and move these map pieces around like jigsaw puzzle pieces or like Tetris pieces, and they have to line up with, mountains have to line up with mountains and grassland with grassland and water with water. And you end up helping everybody, and you find your granny, which, no spoiler, you knew you were going to find your granny. Great game, great couch co-op. I thought it was going to be like a Catherine, where I was going to be like, this is the game you must play. But it felt like slightly short of the potential I had dreamed for it. It was a little slow at some points, and it ended lackluster. Like, I either wanted more puzzles, or I wanted to be able to revisit puzzles and have different outcomes. I just wanted like a little more, and I know that's selfish, but I'm excited for whatever this team makes next, because they have the capability of making like lightning in a bottle. It hasn't happened yet, but this was close. This was like so close to just how I felt about Catherine, where I was like, oh, this is everything. This is an awesome game. I'm not trying to sell it short. Awesome game. It's $20 right now on the online store, and I think that's a bit much, but if it ever goes down to like 10 or something, you just grab it. Don't think twice about it. Grab it. It's super fun. All right, that was the last game I beat. Oh, there's a game I'm playing. Mar, will you go grab the game I'm playing, and I'll talk about something else while you are. Okay, so I wanted to talk about 2 other things besides games I beat this year. All right, the first thing I want to talk about is what multiplayer games was jamming this year, and it was 3 games I had to put out above all the other. Okay, here they are. Oh, can I have that? Thank you. Here are the 3 games that we've been jamming multiplayer this year. Every year is different. The year before this was Uniracers, which is like barely a multiplayer game, but we were jamming it. Okay, so Mario Party Superstars is the first 3 Mario Parties. I'm not that impressed with it as a game. There's like not that many options. There's not that many playable characters. There's only 5 maps, but it's Mario Party and it's fun. And you should have a Mario Party accessible because it's sick when people are over. And I love Mario Party. This game is so sick. Snipper Clips Plus. So this game is like a 2-player like puzzle game. You should play this game. This game is so sick. My buddy Becca and Byron, they came and visited me from Australia. I got them to play this game. She messaged me weeks later and she says, I bought a Switch and this game. They're not even gamers. That's not what they do, and they wanted to play this game more. Go look it up. Play this game. It's so fun with friends. And finally, my custom Mario Aces. This is just Mario Tennis. Mara was nice enough to actually do custom art because I just ordered a cart off eBay because I'm a cheapo. But that's Frey. That's Princess Frey, and this is Mara's cats. That's Mose and Miko. And yeah, this game is great. There's nothing to say. It's Mario Tennis. If you got any Mario Tennis, then you got Mario Tennis. You don't need to go get this game. It's just a Mario Tennis game. It's like Wii Sports without motion controls. It's great. You just hit buttons. Multiplayer games of the year. All Switch games. Shout out to Switch. PS4 is more for the heavy JRPGs. And then I wanted to talk about, before I get to the game I'm playing, my favorite pickups of the year. It's just 2 things. All right, I got this thing free outside Second and Charles in the free bin, and I was actually about to buy one. It's just a 3DS holder, so it just holds your games and your. Do I have? Oh yeah, look, I even got a 2DS in there. Look at that. Got my games, my stylus. And then another game up here. Yeah, it's cool. That's really all I gotta say about that. And then my favorite game I picked up this year. No, it's not the most expensive. No, it's not the most rare. No, it's not the most fun. It's the sickest. Toxic Grind on the original Xbox, a console I do not collect for. I just don't care about it. I think it's like cool, but I never really had one. And then I had one when I was older, and it just never worked. The disc drive never worked, so I just like feel kind of twisted about it all. But this game is so sick. On the back it says, "A twisted game show is the forum for public execution of outlaw BMX riders. Welcome to the show where ratings soar when riders die." So obviously this is my favorite game that I found this year. Mara, bless her heart, was like, I really don't think you should get that, babe. Because it's $9. And she's like, are you ever going to play it? And I was like, of course I'm not going to play it. My Xbox doesn't even work, but look at this game. So luckily, I got it anyways. This game is so sick. This is the only Xbox game that I have on display with my games. It's the only one. All right, what am I playing currently? How deep into JRPGs am I? Blue Reflection Second Light. You've heard about it. It's as big as Zelda. It's as big as Mario. You already know what this game is. This is everywhere. You've never heard of this game. Because this game is weird. It's a Gust game, which maybe you know from like the Atelier series, Atelier Ryza. That was the recent popular one. And it is a cozy JRPG. You may see it at first and think it's a waifu simulator. And I don't want to tell you that you're dead wrong because it's just a bunch of like cute college girls, but it's not like the waifu vibe. It's even different than that. It's like a bunch of supportive girls helping each other through their trauma, giving each other support and love. It's so sick. You're on this beach island. No one knows why they're there. You think you're trapped. And then there's like these heartscapes. Think Persona. Like these dungeons that are created by your own emotions. And you go in there and you're like, oh, used to be a ballerina. And then you hurt your knee and then you had to go to normal school and that weighs on you. We're going to get you through that. We're going to get you through that and we're going to build some fun things and we're going to have a great time. I've been enjoying this game so much. I have posted in it in my gaming group chat twice and no one will respond to me about it, which makes me like it more. So I'm going to beat this game so that I can make a post about it and make you guys hear about it one more time. And I want to talk about, because look at this, no renewals. I just found out that my library has a whole PS4 collection of games that you can rent for free. this is where I'm at now. This is gaming for me right now. I'm gonna rent so many games. I checked out another game that I was interested in, and it was horrible, and I was hyped because I didn't have to go buy it or like think about it anymore. I was just like, sick. I don't need that. And I think that's my year. We're gonna be playing for the video game club that I just talked about, where we played. Well, it's gone now, but where we played Trails of Cold Steel. We're gonna play Cult of the Lamb in January. So come join me. Let's play a game together. I actually picked a more normal game so we could get more people involved. I love these JRPGs though. Thomas, Jacob, thank you guys for playing this with me. I love having somebody to play these big 60-hour behemoths with. So, all right, thank you for watching, and thanks for listening to me ramble about all the games that meant a lot to me this last year. It was an awesome year for gaming. All right, stay right there. Oh yeah. Ooh.